I am 68 years old today, but for 40 years of my life, 4 long, exhausting decades, I was a professional house cleaner. From the time I was 22 years old until my body finally forced me to retire, I spent my days on my hands and knees. I scrubbed the massive, endless hardwood floors, the luxurious marble bathrooms, and the pristine chef's kitchens of people who had far more money than I ever would. My bare hands have touched tens of thousands of dirty surfaces. My fragile shoulders have carried thousands of heavy, sloshing buckets of gray water up and down steep, carpeted staircases. And over those 40 years of breaking my own back, I watched brilliant, well-meaning, exhausted people completely destroy their own homes and their own physical bodies by making the exact same miserable cleaning mistakes over and over and over again. Today, if you walk into my own small home, you will see that it is absolutely spotless. The air smells like fresh rain. The floors shine in the afternoon light. But I never scrub anymore. I never wake up with a burning pain in my lower back. I threw away the heavy buckets. I threw away the stiff brushes. I finally learned the absolute secrets of what not to do. I am going to share with you the 5 biggest, most destructive mistakes I saw in my 40 years of professional cleaning. If you are tired of being an exhausted slave to your own home, and if your joints are begging for mercy, please sit down, pour yourself a warm cup of tea, and stay with me. Let's fix this right now. Mistake number 1 is something almost everyone does, and it is quietly poisoning our homes and our lungs. I call it the toxic chemical flood. I want you to really think about what happens when you face a terrible mess. A greasy stovetop after cooking a Sunday roast, or a shower glass covered in thick, cloudy soap scum. Human nature always tells us that more is better. We panic. We go to the cabinet and we grab the strongest, harshest, most expensive chemical spray we can find. We spray it heavily, wildly, until the entire surface is soaking wet with toxic foam. We mix bleach with ammonia, creating invisible fumes. And then we immediately start scrubbing with all of our physical might. By the time we finish this violent ritual, our lungs are burning, our eyes are watering, our throats feel scratchy, and our elbows are aching with a sharp, stabbing pain. I used to clean a beautiful, sprawling mansion for a wealthy woman named Mrs. Sterling. She was absolutely obsessed with heavy industrial chemicals. She believed that if a room didn't smell like a hospital hallway, it wasn't truly clean. And because of that obsession, she ruined her own expensive, custom-imported marble countertops. The harsh, biting acids in those sprays literally ate the natural shine right off the stone over the years. It left a sticky, dull, porous residue that actually attracted more dirt and dust the very next day. I decided long ago that I was never going to poison my own air or ruin my own surfaces again. The professional secret I learned the hard way is this: less is always, always more. For 90% of the surfaces in your entire home, all you need is a single tiny drop of gentle dish soap mixed with warm tap water in a small, lightweight spray bottle. That is it. Warm water lifts heavy grease naturally. Gentle dish soap traps the microscopic dirt. Here is the brilliant, life-changing bonus of stopping the toxic chemical flood. Without a sticky, artificial chemical residue left behind on your tables and counters, your surfaces actually stay clean for 3 times as long. The dust simply blows right off. And more importantly, you protect your lungs, your breathing, and your precious aging joints, because you are no longer violently scrubbing harsh, thick foams into your delicate counters. You clean using zero extra effort, and you breathe pure air. That brings me directly to mistake number 2. This is the mistake that physically destroys our bodies faster than anything else. I call it the brute force scrubbing trap. Have you ever encountered a hardened, dried spill of sticky juice in the back of the refrigerator? Or mineral deposits baked onto the bathroom faucet? What do? We grab a stiff, rough sponge. We press down with our entire body weight, gritting our teeth, and we scrub. We scrub in circles until our delicate wrists ache, our knuckles turn bright white, and our shoulders feel like they are completely on fire. We have been brainwashed to believe that physical force and suffering are the only ways to remove stubborn dirt. I refuse to use physical brute force anymore. My severe arthritis simply will not allow it. The greatest secret I ever learned in the commercial cleaning business is that time, simple, quiet time, is your very best employee. When I face a difficult, hardened, ancient mess in my kitchen or my bathroom today, I spray it lightly with my warm water and vinegar mixture, and then I walk away. I completely leave the room. I go to the living room, sit in my favorite chair, and I drink my morning coffee. I look out the window. I let the liquid sit on that stubborn stain for at least 10 to 15 full minutes. When you actually allow the product the time to do its job, the moisture penetrates the hardened, cement-like crust of the stain. It breaks it down chemically at a microscopic level. When I finally walk back into the kitchen with my soft microfiber cloth, I do not scrub. I just do one gentle, smooth, effortless wipe across the surface. The mess completely slides off like melting butter. The beautiful, profound surprise here is that cleaning stops being a torturous cardiovascular workout. You let the clock on the wall do all the heavy lifting for you. You save your precious, limited physical energy for the things you actually love doing in your life. 10 minutes of quiet patience saves you 10 hours of throbbing joint pain. Take a very deep, slow breath with me for a second. Can you feel the difference already? Just imagining your day without harsh, stinging chemical smells burning your nose and without violently scrubbing your shower walls until you are out of breath. Your daily movement is getting so much easier just by changing your philosophy. I want you to know that I had to learn these painful lessons the very hard way. I remember being 50 years old, sitting in my old beaten-up car after cleaning a massive 4-bedroom house for a family of 6. I was crying silent, bitter tears, gripping the steering wheel, because my hands were cramped into tight claws. I couldn't even turn the key in the ignition. The old way of cleaning, the way society demands of us, was breaking me into pieces. That was the exact moment I realized I had to change, or I wouldn't survive to see my retirement. But changing our chemicals and abandoning our scrubbing habits is only the very beginning of the journey. What about the actual mechanics of how we move our tired bodies through a room? What about the invisible forces of nature working against us every single day? That is exactly where we must go next. Mistake number 3 is the most infuriating, maddening one of all. I call it fighting the gravity battle. Have you ever spent a full hour meticulously wiping down your kitchen counters, polishing the toaster, making the coffee maker shine until it looks brand new, only to look down and realize the floor is covered in crumbs? So you pull out the heavy broom, you start sweeping the floor vigorously, and suddenly a massive cloud of fine, invisible dust rises right back up into the air and settles perfectly onto the pristine counters you just exhausted yourself cleaning. It makes you want to pull your hair out. It makes you feel like the work is a cruel joke and that it is never, ever finished. In my 40 years of professional cleaning, I saw homeowners do this constantly. They clean what is right in front of their eyes first. They wipe the dining room tables. Then they look up and decide to dust the dirty ceiling fan. They fight the basic laws of gravity, and gravity always, always wins. I established a strict, unbreakable golden rule for my own home and for every house I ever cleaned. I call it the top to bottom drop. When I walk into a room to tidy up, I do not look at the tables. I always look straight up at the ceiling first. I take my long, extendable microfiber wand, and standing safely on the ground, I gently dust the high corners for cobwebs. I dust the tops of the picture frames. I dust the ceiling fan blades. The dust falls down. Then I wipe the countertops, the shelves, and the tables. The dust falls down again. The absolute very last thing I do, right before I turn off the light and leave the room forever, is a quick, silent sweep or vacuum of the floor. Here is what will surprise you the most about this simple habit. When you work with gravity instead of fighting against it, you never, ever have to clean the same surface twice. Your mind feels completely free because you know with absolute certainty that the room is truly, permanently finished. You completely eliminate the horrible, exhausting frustration of seeing new, fresh dust settling on a freshly cleaned table. Mistake number 4 is something that makes our homes smell stale, sour, and heavy, and most of the time we don't even realize we are doing it. I call it the dirty tool trap. Think deeply about the actual tools we use to clean our sanctuaries. The yellow kitchen sponge sitting by the sink, the heavy, stringy, wet mop in the utility closet, the loud, clunky vacuum cleaner. We expect these tools to magically absorb all the dirt from our lives, but we rarely stop to actually clean the tools themselves. Have you ever mopped your kitchen floor, working up a sweat, only to notice a sour, heavy, almost dog-like smell lingering in the air an hour later? I remember working for a very wealthy family who could not figure out why their expensive, custom hardwood floors always looked cloudy and dull. I walked into their laundry room and looked at their mop bucket. The water sitting in it was pitch black. The heavy string mop head hadn't been washed or replaced in 6 long months. It smelled like mildew and decay. They were not cleaning their beautiful floors. They were simply pushing dirty, smelly, bacteria-filled water from one corner of the elegant room to the other. I stopped this vicious cycle completely. I threw away my traditional heavy, smelly string mop. I used simple, flat, reusable microfiber mop pads. The exact second I finish mopping the kitchen floor, that dirty pad is ripped off and goes straight into the washing machine. It never sits wet in a dark, warm closet to grow mold and bacteria. I empty my vacuum cleaner canister and wipe the filter after every single use, so it never blows dusty, stale air back into my clean living room. I throw my kitchen sponges in the dishwasher every night. And the absolute best part of this habit? When you use pristine, perfectly clean tools, your home actually smells like pure, clean, vibrating air. It does not smell like artificial lemon chemicals mixed with old, wet dirt. The physical act of cleaning actually becomes a joy because your tools are light, fresh, and perfectly ready to serve you. Close your tired eyes for a second and imagine something beautiful with me. I remember the very first time I applied all of these professional rules in my own small, modest house after I retired. I poured my hot afternoon tea, walked slowly into my living room, sat down, and realized it was perfectly, beautifully quiet. The air was crisp, the surfaces were clear and shining, and my body, my aching, aging body, didn't hurt. I felt a massive, heavy weight lift entirely off my chest and evaporate into the air. But keeping the physical dust and the heavy grime away is only one part of the equation of a happy home. There is one final mistake. It is the most heartbreaking, tragic mistake I ever witnessed in my 40 years of working inside other people's intimate lives. This last mistake has absolutely nothing to do with wet sponges or vacuums or dust. It has to do with your heart and your soul. Mistake number 5 is the greatest tragedy of home ownership. I call it the museum mindset. For 40 long years, I cleaned massive houses, filled to the brim with beautiful, expensive things. I meticulously polished heavy silver cutlery that was never ever used to eat a meal. I gently dusted gorgeous imported velvet armchairs that no human being was ever allowed to sit in. I vacuumed massive formal dining rooms that stayed dark, empty, and silent for 364 days a year. We buy beautiful things, we work hard for them, we clean them, we desperately protect them from the world, and we tell ourselves, I am saving this for a special occasion. We treat our own comfortable homes like pristine, untouchable museums. And worse, we treat ourselves like the tired, underpaid janitors who just work there after hours. We spend our beautiful golden years serving the house instead of demanding that the house serve us. I refuse to live like that anymore. I remember a lovely client of mine, Mrs. Carmichael. She had a massive locked glass cabinet full of exquisite hand-blown crystal wine glasses. She told me once with a whisper that she was saving them for a truly grand, perfect party. Mrs. Carmichael passed away silently at 82 years old, and those beautiful crystal glasses had never, not once, been filled with wine. I went home that very day. I walked straight into my kitchen. I opened my highest cupboards, and I took out my absolute best, most expensive porcelain plates. I used them that night to eat a simple, quiet Tuesday night dinner of soup and bread by myself. I am begging you, stop saving your beautiful home for guests who only visit twice a year. Light the expensive, fragrant candle you have been saving in the back of your bathroom drawer. Sleep on the luxurious high thread count guest sheets tonight. Drink your morning tap water out of the fancy, fragile crystal cup. Let the grandchildren sit on the good sofa. Taking 5 minutes to sit in your clean living room and actually enjoy the beautiful things you work so hard to own changes your psychology entirely. Cleaning stops feeling like a horrible, endless punishment for simply existing. It starts feeling like a luxurious, beautiful gift you are preparing for yourself. You are the special occasion. Today is the special occasion. You know, as I am telling you these 5 mistakes, sitting here sharing my life, my aching joints, and my 40 years of professional secrets with you, I am realizing something very profound. For most of my life as a younger woman, I truly thought that struggling, sweating, and suffering over a heavy bucket of soapy water meant I was a good, worthy person. I thought my value as a human being was tied directly to how clean I could make a stranger's floor. It took severe arthritis, swollen, painful joints, and decades of cleaning other people's empty mansions to finally teach me the greatest lesson of all. Worthiness has absolutely nothing to do with how hard you suffer. It is about how kind and how gentle you are to yourself. Getting older doesn't mean we have to surrender to the clutter and let our homes fall apart. But it certainly doesn't mean we have to live in daily, agonizing physical pain to keep things looking nice either. Your home should be your safe, warm sanctuary, not your cruel, demanding master. So here is my heartfelt, honest challenge for you today. Do not try to change everything tomorrow morning. Do not overwhelm your mind or your body. Just pick one single thing we talked about today, just one. Maybe tomorrow you just let the vinegar spray sit on the stove for 10 minutes instead of violently scrubbing it. Or maybe tonight you drink your evening water out of your absolute fanciest glass. Step by gentle step, habit by habit, you will reclaim your physical space. And far more importantly, you will reclaim your absolute peace of mind. I would absolutely love to know from the bottom of my heart, which one of these 5 mistakes have you been making? Or maybe you have a clever, lazy little cleaning secret of your own that saves your aging joints from pain. Please, tell me in the comments down below. I promise you, I read every single one of them, and I learned so much from the incredible lived wisdom in this community. If this video brought you even a little bit of comfort today, or made you feel a little less alone in your daily struggles, hit that like button and please subscribe to the channel so we can share more quiet, peaceful moments like this together in the future. Thank you so much for inviting me into your home today. Take care of your beautiful, capable body. Be incredibly gentle with yourself, and I will see you next time.